Hello. Hello, everybody. This camera is questionable on a good day. It's questionable. It's my computer camera, but I'm getting an adapter for my other one, so I'll have a better picture. This is YouTube only allows a recognized webcam from the computer. So today I want to talk to you about the tarot and astrology. Not necessarily in that order. So I'm going to open up with with astrology. Astrology was has always been around, and it was the ology that was put into an ology, a study of when um, science became a separate derivative of understanding. So astrology is the study of the planets and their energy and their effect, what that energy looks like as it interfaces with matter. All astrology readings are always about the person, even if an astrology reading contains information about another person, meeting another person, being collaborative with another person. All those other persons are reflections of the self, and the bringing in of energy to learn a new aspect and give the self an opportunity to utilize and perfect its skills. Now, astrology is a code, and your job is to decipher it. So, getting a reading can help you to decipher your code. The most effective way to understand your astrology would be to understand your chart and for you to study your chart and to understand your energies. Right now, we are in eclipse season with in the Virgo season of the eclipse season, and this is also a very uh, volatile. That's probably not the right word. It's a very fast energy season right now. It's been that way for the whole year, but it's been that way for many years actually. And so any of the energies that are interacting with each other right now, they are having their it's almost like they're having their time of their lives. They're having their moment in the sun, so to speak, including the sun. So this lunar eclipse in Pisces, where um, the moon is going to be 15 degrees Pisces, which happens to be my exact sign um, placement. And so if you have those placements, those are times for you to listen to yourself, to reflect, to understand what it is that you've already completed and to move forward. And that's something I'm doing personally, but I do that every day. What have I already left that I feel maybe there might be some dust that needs to be brushed off or cleaned off, or something that needs to be organized and put away for good, given away, so to speak? Anything that needs to be let go of, this is the season for that right now. This is what the planets are giving us this opportunity. It's extremely high energy for organization and for letting go. And that's because we're making room for the new, the brand new version of yourself. And it really doesn't matter what energy sign you were born under. It only matters that you are willing to expand your understanding in order to embrace your consciousness, in order to really be the most kind and loving to yourself. So, astrology is always, like I said, it's always about you. It's really relevant. Hello, a dragonfly. Um, it's really relevant. The words that if there's a you or an other that's coming out of the reading for you, it is though an understanding of yourself, and that person is being reflected to you. You are asking that person to show up a certain way so that you have an opportunity to work on whatever it is that their behavior is reflecting to you. And so astrology can be very useful in that way. But if you're using astrology in order to assign cause and to assign blame, then that will be the recourse with which you will facilitate living your life. So you will be in a constant state of blame and looking for cause instead of taking responsibility and taking your power back. Now, when it comes to the tarot is the same way. All tarot readings are always about you. They are always about your consciousness, your awareness. The 22 major arcanas are behavior patterns. They are the major behavior patterns of an individual human. And even if the tarot reads in that there is another person involved, that other person again is another self. It is another aspect of you. So it's always about you, the tarot and astrology both. It's always about you. Even though there might be a verbiage that a reader might say, well, another person. So, and again, the 22 major arcana is about your behaviors, the different types, 22 different behaviors, major behaviors that you have. There are subsets that fall underneath there, and those would be the minors. The minors incorporate how those behaviors can be utilized in day to day activities or in a global sense, depending on the circumstances or what the reading is about at the time. And that is always going to be dependent on what the energies are, where the stars are in the sky, what the constellation is, time of year, whether it's the equinox, the solstices. Equinoxes are about balancing. It's a checks and balances situation, getting ready for storage and alleviating past debt, taking in new harvests, getting rid of the rot, that kind of thing. That's fall. Spring is getting ready for is moving everything out, cleaning everything out, getting ready everything because there's going to be a harvest in the fall. So and the winter and the summer are about abundance. One is abundance of time for reflection, the other one is abundance and time for taking all that reflection and putting it into action. And they fall in different hemispheres, obviously, northern and southern hemispheres. So in Australia, there are that time of year will reflect that uh, a northern or will it reflect a different time, and the same thing for up here. So the the in Australia, the winter season would be our summer, and of course, our summer would be their winter. So also in tarot and astrology, um, some little bit of pieces that may be new information, but you might already know this. Most likely, you probably do. And that is throughout in 24-hour period, you actually go through an entire astrology cycle, and you do that twice. All 12 signs, every hour is this sign. And then you're doing it in a diurnal, which would be a day, and you're doing it again at night. And just because you're sleeping, it doesn't mean that your soul isn't also playing a part in their 12 energies. So, and they change, those 12 energies change based on the day. And every day is in itself its own has its own ruler, like Mondays for the moon, and Sunday would be for Saturday's Saturn. I was going to say Saturn, um, and Sunday, of course, is the sun. So astrology and the tarot are really just codes of daily life and things happening in your life and how to decipher them. And it's kind of fun, really, to figure out what how to watch how things match up so succinctly by watching the energies and integrating the self with the energies of the earth and the sky. So, which would be in air. So there's also the four elements. Those would be the four parts of the day. There are also the four parts of the month, and there's four parts of the year, the quadrants, and then even in the globe in and of itself is the Earth is separated into four quadrants: upper and lower, east and west. And so the astrology and the tarot are really they're a roadmap. They're really a code to you, and understanding your the tarot cards can actually be directly represented in your natal astrology chart. Um, and when I do readings for people and read their chart, but I also read them, and when I do that, I look closely to see how their energy is uh, synchronizing and working and harmonizing with the current energy of the stars and how well it's matching up with their natal chart and what they are doing to facilitate a use of the power of their own innate power. And so that's what I would recommend for you to do that. And I would appreciate if you put in the comments below how you use your astrology chart, how to use your natal chart, how to use tarot if you use tarot. Maybe you use runes. Runes are the same thing. They're just from a different culture, but they all have their own type of ability to decode. So when you're watching tarot and you're listening to tarot, you're going to get a reading or you're getting a natal chart reading. And I will never ask you for a natal chart reading. I will never solicit you or ever. I will never do that. I won't DM you or do it direct message or ask you for any money or anything like that. So don't if you get something like that from me, it's not from me. It's a fraud. So when one of the things I recommend when you're listening to the tarot is to replace the words of other people. Or there's another person coming in. There could be a love coming in your life. Replace that with you. Replace that with your name or with you. Oh, I'm going to be more loving to myself. Oh, a new love is coming into my life. Oh, a new way to love myself is coming into my life. A new way of learning how to love myself is coming into my life. And that would be an appropriate way to and a facilitative way for you to understand and utilize and practice the tarot. Like, how am I going to use that information? Well, you can start by listening to it in a way that's going to be effectual for you rather than um, listening it into a way that keeps you stuck, keeps you waiting for that person to come in or that situation to or whatever the case may be. So, um, that's kind of what I wanted to say about that, just a very brief overview of the astrology and tarot from my own understanding. And this from years of experience, I've always have learned that regardless of anything information that comes in from another person about another person, it never is about them. It's always about you and how you're responding to that. It's always about me and how I'm responding to that and how I could respond to it, how beneficial this is for me, whether or not this is nourishment, whether or not this is an opportunity for me to practice not listening, um, or taking authority and walking away, things things of that nature. So as you're hi Cyan, thank you for putting your chat in there. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, please by all means throw them up there in the chat. I'm gonna just say hello and thank you so much for joining me. Um, so with regard to I think I look at tarot and I look at astrology readings and I look at the comments down and I see the a little bit of the wistfulness and the wishfulness both in the comments the and that there is a false sense of security and that this tarot and astrology is somehow going to cure what ails you or is going to fix a situation. But in fact, what it's going to do is it's going to give you all the tools you need to fix the situation because the only kind of help there is self-help. There is no other help. There is no other help. You can go to a doctor, but you still have to do the work. You still have to take the pills if you choose to take the pills. You still have to choose to take the pills. Um, and you still have to choose to do the therapy. You still have to do the practices that are required or that are recommended by the doctor or the therapist or whoever you're seeing. You have to go to physical therapy if that's part of the regimen. You are the only one that's doing the work. And it doesn't change just because it's astrology or just because it's a doctor. It doesn't change. They're literally telling you across the board, it's the 100% true that it's always, always going to be self help across the board. It's you. There is no one else helping you. So you might get different feedback from other people. So you might go get a reading from a couple different tarot readers, and you might go get a nail chart reading, and then you might talk to your mom, or you might talk to your dad, you might talk to your brother, your uncle, and but in the end, you're the only one that's ever gonna have to do the work. You're the only one that's gonna ever to change your mind. You're the only one that has to let go of your beliefs. You're the only one that has to question and come to terms with your beliefs. And you're the only one that has to take responsibility. And you're the only one that can take responsibility. And so with regard to the astrology and tarot, know that those they fall under they might be considered self-help or pseudoscience. But in fact, they're no different than anything else because you are again the only one that can help yourself. Self-help is the only kind of help there is. There is no other help out there. None. There's only you. Even if you were on welfare, even if you were homeless in your car and you just happen to be watching me, you're the only one that can make the choice to go and ask someone for money. Somebody's not going to just walk up to you and give you money. Although that might happen. I'm not saying that's out of the picture, but you are the one that would have to take that money. You are the one that would have to choose how to spend that money. You are the one that's going to have to make all the decisions and put all the skin in the game in order to make your life work for you. That's the end game. The end game is self-help is the only help there is. And so when you're listening to tarot and you're listening to astrology, you're getting a reading or you overhear somebody else talking about that, note that all the information that's coming in for you is coming in because You are in a situation where you're ready to hear it. And it's not because that person happened to be there and they were the right person to do it. It's because you're ready to receive that information and you're ready to take that information and apply it in some way. And you heard the information that you needed to hear in order to take the steps that you need to take now. So I think these are I have a high level of respect for all types of information that facilitates a person's sovereignty and personal authority and their own personal power. And as long as the information that you are receiving or choosing to get serves you in a way that doesn't hurt you and it doesn't hurt anyone else in the process, then that's the best information in the world because it's going to be useful for you. So, because you're the only one that has to do the work, right? And you want that work to be very kind to yourself. You don't want to be you don't want to be doing work that's going to hurt you. So again, self-help is the only help there is, and tarot and astrology is very good self-help, and so is listening to doctors, um, and reading, and educating yourself, and finding anything you would um, that would help you in any way, that would help your growth, would help your to have a better perspective or a clearer understanding of how you're functioning in a situation or why a situation keeps coming up. And anything like that that comes in for you, it's going to be helpful. So use your tarot and use your astrology. Recognize that the readings are always about you. They're not about someone else. They're always about you. It might seem like it's about someone else, but it's not. It's about you. It's just a side of you that maybe you just have chosen not to um, take responsibility for. But you're hearing it now. And so you're ready to take responsibility for it. Um, and that's all I have today. So I'll be back on Monday. Think so, Monday. Um, but I might pop in this weekend too. We'll see how that goes. And thank you, Cyan, very much for joining. I'm happy that you came today. And for anyone else out there watching, I appreciate the views and please subscribe and hit the thank you thumb. I would appreciate that as well. And um, if you have any recommendations for tarot readers that you particularly like on YouTube or that you find to be conducive, I know I have a few that I think spread a very good conscious awareness message. Um, and of course, natal chart readers, birth readers, and astrologists. I'll give you a couple right now, actually. Pamela Gregory, I would recommend listening to her. She's quite knowledgeable. Molly McCord is excellent. And she does almost every day, puts out something. And she's quite good because she gives the same information through different perspectives and through different avenues on YouTube. She does it different ways. So she uses several tools in facilitating bringing about that information. I find her to be quite extensive. So Molly McCord, Pamela Gregory, um, Astrolab, Astrolada, the astrology podcast. I think it's Michael Wright. I think that's his name, Mr. I think the last name is Wright. And yeah, the astrology podcast is extremely in depth and very good. And information on that website is very good. If you want to read on astrology, on the tarot, on the I Ching, on numerology, things like that, Benabel Wen is an excellent resource for that, and she documents all of her knowledge as well. Um, I have 2 of her books, and I've read them cover to cover, and they're excellent. Um, those yeah, she's quite knowledgeable, um, and she's a lawyer in her free time. And I think that's all I have for recommendations for that for right now. The I could go into recommendations about tarot readers on YouTube, but I would prefer that you just find somebody that you think you might like. And if you want to put yours in your recommendations down in the comments, that would be helpful for other people. There are so many, and I would, yeah. So there are so many, and they're all very good, and they all have something to say that might resonate with you. So um, I would take even the new tarot readers that are out there. They have a gift, and it might be exactly what you need. So I would utilize if you're getting somebody that's new, listen to them and see if that person resonates with you. They could be your new number one for your years going. So thank you all for watching. I so appreciate each and every one of you, and may the stars align in your life because they are right now, really. So I'll see you again. Namaste. And yes, I see the divine in you. Mm, bye.